One love, family. Blessings and wholeness. We're having a beautiful day. I'm having a beautiful day. Been working a lot, so I feel kind of drowsy. Just got done meditating after a shower. After work, I'm about to break my 23-hour a day dry fast. Got me some nice mango passion fruit juice here with a little coconut water that I strained out. And I got my Purium. I have a kombucha and got a little bit of ionic elements, some fulvic acid and trace minerals here. And just wanted to jump in as promised. I haven't had so many subjects that I've wanted to cover with so much going on lately. So I'm going to commit to doing another short video once a day. What's on my heart right now is to talk about weather modification and UFOs. So, we've had, this fire in Maui. There's a lot of corruption going on with respect to that is clear. You know, people are conjecturing the possibility of direct energy weaponry starting that fire. There's definitely a direct energy weapon on Haleakala, and the U.S. government has been putting a lot of money into the development of direct energy weaponry over the past many years. I remember being in a college, this was like 20 years ago, and I was taking this class with this lady who worked at Sandia Labs down in Albuquerque, and she was working on microwave direct energy weaponry. So this stuff has been really well devised. The other, things that were going on with Hawaii are, this land grab that has been going on there since Americans and the British came to the Hawaiian Islands. Hawaii is a sovereign nation. There was a coup d'etat that was basically started by the Dole Company, and Dole actually owned Hawaii. That family owned Hawaii for a year or two or something like that. But the sovereignty of Hawaii has always been there, and I forget, like 93 or something, President Clinton even made a formal apology to the sovereignty of Hawaii for the claiming of those lands, even though it was totally illegal and completely non-legitimate. And so I feel like that same theme is still going on there, and it's a theme that's been worldwide. I was here in northern New Mexico with the Native American indigenous people all over the country. Of course, this was sovereign land, sovereign people, and the land was taken by force. With respect to Hawaii, it was kind of taken by economic force. And so there's things that set up there sort of vibrationally with respect to that, with this sort of lusting over their lands, over the very rich mana of and culture and energy of Hawaii. And so the Dole Company and the sugarcane companies were in there in Maui, and they were growing pineapples and sugarcane, which were non-native species, and it totally changed the ecology there. There were also ranchers growing cows. The sugarcane and the pineapple industries have mostly been kicked out because the people of Hawaii, and just the precious, delicate ecosystem there, won't support chemical agriculture. And so between the guinea grass that was brought in by the ranchers and the abandoning of these plantations, it made conditions ripe for a fire. However, there was all kinds of foul play. I don't want to go into too much of the details. The hurricane was 500 miles off the coast. People were not allowed to leave town. They didn't ring the alarms The kids were taken out of school. The water was shut off. The police chief acted poorly. People have said, terrible things. There's the, whole thing of like that they wanted to create smart city out of Maui, and these lands were belonging to people, and now it's just convenient, that there's these entities that are seeking, to do something with that. And there's still hundreds and hundreds of people missing, the great majority of which are children. So a lot of foul play going on with that. And, so I'm just telling you what I know. I don't know that all those threads make the story of like direct energy weaponry and it let everybody on fire purposefully. But that could have been the case. Definitely. The government has created false flag ops for a long time. That's something the CIA has researched extensively. So, to talk, just briefly to that point, a lot of people are talking about it. There's a lot of information out there. I just want to help share this alternative narrative and viewpoint, because what happened there was a total tragedy. It was like 9/11. All over again on what's supposed to be U.S. territory, but there's been very little help, and this is actually sovereign people. So, it's just, we need to end this narrative of elite opportunism, of corporate oligarchical entities taking advantage of bad situations and indigenous people. So that's partly the thing with like the weather manipulation stuff. The other thing that I've known about for 20 years or more is the High Altitude Auroral Research Program, or the HARP. It was originally devised by Nikola Tesla. And Tesla, a lot of the researchers and scientists back in those days, they were just under the thumb of these governmental and oligarchical sort of corporate private interests and entities. And like my favorite ethnobotanist, Dr. Richard Evans Schultes, he preserved a lot of the wisdom knowledge, plant knowledge of vision medicine and healing medicine of indigenous people over the earth, but he also had to, because of his position at Harvard and his livelihood and his life, he, had to, during the war effort, create the opportunity for the harvesting of rubber and rubber trees. So anyways, Tesla was involved in developing that high altitude auroral research program, which is basically, he shows in his schematics and in his designs about how you can create earthquakes, hurricanes, tsunamis, etc. And now we're having all this crazy weather all around the world. There was, that place in Cancer Alley that just blew up, where most of the petrochemical industry of the United States is working out of. There was the incidents in East Palestine in Ohio earlier this year. Then we had that freak hurricane coming up into Southern California. Now there's hurricanes coming into Florida. Of course, that's, pretty typical for this time of year. But there was the fires in Alaska. Last year here in New Mexico, it was last year or the year before, we had the largest fire in New Mexico history, 300,000 acres burned. So I just want to bring this into awareness so people understand more what's going on, and we can think about this more rationalistically. They're also about to start up with the mask mandates again, and pump up the COVID paranoia. And I just want to put out this vibration of keep calm, keep clear-headed. Let's hunker down as private individuals and in our communities, and lock arms with each other. Together we are so much stronger. Don't let them divide us. Don't let the fear, and the paranoia, get to this fever pitch and undo you. Let's think about solutions. Let's think about community resilience. Let's uh, get into victory gardens. I want to pump this idea of like, you know, during the last World War, victory gardens is what saved Americans, you know, and prices of food are, you know, going through the roof and everything. We can grow our resilience. We can reclaim our sovereignty. It's just something that we just take. It belongs to us. It's our natural, inalienable rights. You know, I wanted to go into this whole thing about the UFOs and stuff. I'll save that for tomorrow's sharing because I want to break fast. But it's another place where they're trying to, they've been creating the narrative for years through Hollywood movies and now the congressional hearings about the threat of aliens. When if you look at indigenous cultures across the earth, they say that the star people are our ancestors, that they're our friends, you know, that they seeded life here, you know, whether it's, you know, Native American people, whether it's the Dogon in Africa, whether it's the Anunnaki in Egypt and Sumeria and all of these tales across the earth. There was this stories of, you know, this, it wasn't like they're here to cull us and eat us and, you know, dominate us. But if you look at the congressional hearings, I think what the pilots and all those people are sharing is like their legitimate fears and experiences, but it's coming from this narrative because it's part of the military industrial complex of like fear. Is this a threat? You know, instead of like, are these our friends? You know, and it just kind of goes to show the mindscape of our country, where we have a Department of War. But I remember years ago when Dennis Kucinich was running, and he wanted to create a Department of Peace. And there's places like Bali that have not just a gross national product, but what is like the gross national peace index. So we need to retool our minds, reframe our narrative towards our sovereignty, towards peace, towards unity, towards rehabilitation of our world, freedom, loving kindness, compassion, courage. That's how we're going to get through this, family. So I just want to share that with you. I ask you to bring your beautiful, bright, brilliant hearts, your compassion and your wisdom, all the gifts you've been bestowed with to this collective situation. I know that's what I'm going to bring, and let's create a higher vibrational world. I think they're slamming on us right now because actually, you know, we're moving back through these waves of light as we get closer to galactic center. As you know, the whole thing with the Kali Yuga was our elliptical orbit around the galactic center going farther away from the galactic sun. And 2012 was turning around and coming back, and now it's starting to ping the Schumann resonance and wake up our DNA. That's why so many people meditating, so many people working with vision medicine, so many people fasting, you know, permaculture, crystals, etc. Because these are the technologies, the firm foundation that we can lean upon as we create a new world. So, all right, family. Hope you got something from this. One love. Be well.